It's Illinois, big bucks and Steve Stoltz, right here on Winchester's Whitetail Revolution.
Look at this run right here. They have got this like Grand Central Station. That's a good buck. Hold steady, big boy.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American Legend, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work, Redfield, the soul of the American hunter, and by Browning, the best there is. Steve Stoltz is hoping he has the Midas touch in Illinois' Golden Triangle, where he's blown in for the second rut with Illinois Connection Outfitters.
The mighty Mississippi. We're heading into Illinois, land of the giants. Heading for Doug Benefield's Illinois Connection, a hunt that I've been waiting all year for. It's the rut's wound down. It's over. We're hoping to maybe catch that second rut here in early December. And if we see any of the bucks that Doug has got located at Illinois Connection, Whitetail Revolution is in for a great hunt.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hunting at Doug's, not only because he's got big whitetails, but more importantly because Doug is a close personal friend. We've been competing against each other for years, turkey calling, developed a friendship. Doug's been asking me to come up here, and finally this year I drew a second season Illinois Brown County tag. Well, if you're not familiar with the Golden Triangle in west central Illinois, Brown County's right in the heart of it. And you know, the Golden Triangle is known for big upper end bucks. And the reason why is the age structure is high here. They don't shoot small ones.
Whitetails love those river bottoms and those river drainages, so. You know, this is exactly what you're looking for when you're looking for big whitetails. You look down in this bottom, you got McKee Creek we just came across. You've got big ag fields. Of course, there's some standing corn, some cut corn, but got cornfield here. Beans over to our north. Great big heavy timbered ridges. What more could you ask for big whitetails? No wonder why this is called the Golden Triangle. I mean, look at it. I'm pumped. We are here. Can you believe it? The Illinois Connection. Best of Illinois bow hunting. And gun hunting, hopefully. Hey, Doug.
Stoltzy. How you doing, brother?
Awesome.
Man,
good to be up here, man.
How you making it?
I'm making it. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be here. And a lot of people don't realize Illinois has got two separate gun seasons. The first gun season, second gun season. And you told me get up here to second gun season because you've been seeing some whoppers. For an early December gun hunt, we've hit it just right.
This is about as good as it's going to get.
Fronts coming through, north wind, temperatures dropping. It's chilly out right now.
It's the first time we've had this weather all year. I mean, we're looking at high teens, low 20s, high to low to mid 30s.
Awesome.
I mean, and it gets cut like I'm anticipating within the next day or two.
It's going to bring the big boys out.
It's going to be incredible.
Awesome. I'm going to get loaded in. Thanks, man.
See you at the range.
All right.
You know, no matter where you go, how you travel, whether it's by car, whether you fly, it doesn't make any difference. You need to make sure your gun is on. And so we had to double check. We got on a range. It was the day before the season, so we had the time to do that. May as well make sure that gun is on. Load her up. I got a 100-yard target set out. All right, fire in the hole. It is so windy. My eyes are watering up. I can't even see where I hit.
Our lodge is one of the finest lodges that you're going to be in. You know, everything here is first class. All your gear goes into a scent-free gear room, which is actually, it's like a bomb shelter built up underneath the garage.
Doug's got some big deer located. And what we're going to do this morning, we're going to pull out there. Doug and I went out yesterday, set up a double bull blind right in an area where he's been seeing some hog whitetails, some big whitetails. That's what we're after this morning. Come on with us. Let's go see if we can get a shot at one.
It'll be a miracle if I get a shot at this one. A miracle. Okay, he's still out there. That's a good buck. Hold steady, big boy.
Meanwhile, it appears Mike Hanbeck has found another hunter who's already struck big buck gold.
November 2009. The second day of a two-day lottery hunt at Land Between the Lakes in West Tennessee. Mike Byram didn't see much on day one, so he decided to move his stand. Maybe shoot a fat doe on the last day. It was a warm, windy morning. You know, Mike didn't have a lot of confidence, but he got to his stand early, said a little prayer, and waited. Daylight came and the woods sprang to life. There was racket behind Mike's stand. He looked back, expecting to see a few squirrels, but there walked a giant buck. Mike grunted, but he wouldn't stop. There was one small opening, and when the buck stepped into it, Mike fired his muzzleloader. The buck ran 50 yards and fell. You know what I love most about this story? There was no fancy technology or intense tactics, no anything. The conditions weren't perfect, but so what? Mike went out on public land, said a little prayer, and most of all, hunted hard. The reward? An 11-pointer scored 177 2/8. Simple, solid hunt for the buck of a lifetime.
Well, after that front blew through, the temperatures dropped, and we were really pumped. But that first day, the wind blew really hard. The wind, it seemed like it wouldn't lay, and it got colder, of course. And we just knew those deer would eventually get up. But for some reason, that entire first day, we didn't see a lot of deer movement. Nothing so far. And we have spent all morning here. It was real windy. It's gotten windy. Temperatures drops, cold. That's probably low 30s right now. And got a strong westerly northwest wind. Well, you know, I'm a firm believer that if wind conditions aren't exactly right, sometimes it can suppress the deer movement. In this case, the first day, we had very high winds, and winds were blowing 25 mile an hour or higher. And I think deer move better in like that 5 to 15 mile an hour range where they can smell better. Conversely, if it's almost no wind, zero wind, a lot of times they don't like to move. Big bucks aren't really moving a lot, but we're hunting the bed to feed to bed. But we're going to stick it out till at least noon or after, right here in this blind. And if that don't work, we're going to move on out and maybe try something else. Work out a game plan for tomorrow. It was time to shake things up a little bit.
All right. It is almost, it's 11:30. I just slipped on out of that blind I was in. And we're going to get back in here this evening. But before I do that, I'm going to get on this Rough and Tough and slip up here and put a drop time scent dispenser on the scrape and put a scout guard up, kind of mine on a little bit different field here. And maybe we can get something going for tomorrow, kind of get something coming to one of those scrapes. Yeah, right here. See, there's scrapes right here. All right, this is where I'm going to hang the drop time scent dispenser. There's already a scrape right here. This is the same field we're hunting around. We've been stalking in and hunting this big green lush green clover field, big bedding areas off to the side. We've got scrapes along here. Looks like they've opened the scrapes back up. Let's get a drop time scent dispenser up. What I'm gonna do is, the scrapes open back up, and I'm gonna hang a drop time scent dispenser just like this. See here, we want that thing hung right where it's gonna drip over that scrape. Okay, so it's working. Now I'm gonna switch it to twice a day, morning and evening, dawn and dusk setting. So I'm gonna do that right now. Set right there, beautiful. Now next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rake the area out clean so we can tell when new fresh tracks come in. Notice make sure the area's clean, just like a real scrape. I'm gonna put this grave digger right down in this scrape. This is waterproof dirt. I'm gonna put some over in that scrape there. There we go. I've got doe estrus in the ground, buck urine in the drop time scent dispenser. Reason why is I want that buck to come cross urinate over this scrape, and then he'll smell that doe estrus in this scrape, and he'll come back and check this thing.
Later on that evening, 2 or 3 small bucks came out, so we were having some buck action, but unfortunately, no shooters. And you know, kind of the icing on the cake, I'm a turkey hunter, and we've seen a load of long-beard turkeys. So it was a wonderful evening in the blind. We couldn't go anywhere. We were restricted on our movements, but it was a lot of fun. Doug had a ground blind set up on a clover field, and it was time to go get back in that ground blind again, but he didn't want us hunting into it. He wanted us just to go right to it, get into the blind. And I had a decoy with me, a buck decoy. My thinking was if I put a visual out there and a good buck popped out 200 yards away in that clover field, saw that decoy, it would give us a shot. And it's starting to get light. I'm out there, set the decoy up. We got to the blind. I slip out there. For some reason, we were running late. Just trying to get the head out of the decoy, the carry light decoy, and I look up, and here's 2 bucks coming right for our position.
Oh, wait. There's deer out there. 2 of them. Good buck, that's a good buck. My gun's over there. You don't see me, but I'm gonna have to belly crawl over. Get out of my sight.
Well, I got down when I saw those bucks and put my red fields up, and it didn't take but a second to see one of them was a big shooter. And here I am 50 yards from my gun even, over at the ground blind. So, you know, my next step was to get out of their line of sight. I could see they weren't real spooked.
It's still there.
And so I got down out of their line of sight. I had no other choice than to belly crawl as fast as I could over to the ground blind to try and get to my gun.
All right, here's my gun. Yeah, he's still out there. That's a good buck. I'm wore out. Belly crawling all the way over here. I better get the gun up. Oh, there he goes. I just blew it. That was a nice buck. I don't know how big he was, but he was definitely a shooter. Great big, kind of wide, tall buck. Little things will cost you for big whitetails, and that's what cost me there, right there. Little things, because that buck was out there, and I got all the way over here, got my gun, got everything set, and that last little 10 seconds, getting up and getting the gun ready, he saw me.
You know, I need to listen to my own words, and that is, don't guide to guide. And Doug said, don't worry about a decoy. I had to get that decoy out. It cost me. I was in a wide open when those 2 deer came in. It cost me. It cost me big. He was a beautiful buck. And, you know, you don't get many opportunities at big upper end deer like that. And, of course, I blew it.
The bad news is we didn't get him. The good news is we're only halfway through the hunt. So stay with us. There's a lot of bucks like that.
You know, he's a classic example of what Doug Benefield has to offer up here at Illinois Connection.
Oh yeah, that's a good buck. That's a good buck. I'm gonna take him. One in the back.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work, Redfield, the soul of the American hunter, and by Browning, the best there is.
Same game plan as before. If we don't see anything, any shooters before I get to the blind, it's at the end of the ridge. I want to slip in that blind and spend the rest of the evening there. Get this run right here. They have got this like Grand Central Station. The blind's right here. I'm going to go ahead and spend, it's now almost a quarter, 20 after 3. I think I'm going to spend the rest of the evening right here. This is the end of the food plot.
Between what we own and operate on, between owned land and leased land, we're in and around about 10,000 acres. We're probably operating on, you know, in and around 40 different parcels, different tracts of land. So on a full camp, we're only going to use just a small margin of our ground. So we physically will only run 5 bow hunts and then the 3 firearm hunts. So as far as pressure on our ground, it's only 35 days out of the entire year.
Well, as the sun was starting to set, it was kind of obvious that my chances for a good buck were starting to fade away with the sunlight. There's only about 5 or 10 minutes left of the whole Illinois gun season.
There's 2 bucks coming out right here. Oh yeah, that's a good buck. That's a good buck. I'm gonna take him. He's the back one. I saw him go down right away. And I'm not even gonna wait to go put my hands on that big boy. What a beauty.
I've got good blood right here. I know he went down. There's the boy. I see white. I see white, yes! He's laying right here. There he is. He is down. This Winchester SX3. Put the smack down on him. He's not going nowhere. Let me get my gun unloaded. There we go. Set the gun down and put my hands on this gorgeous, gorgeous Illinois whitetail. Look at this buck. Look at this. Big 8-point. Not the bull of the woods, but doesn't make any difference. I could have had a bigger one, and I blew that shot. But look at this whitetail. Last 15 minutes of the hunt, and he steps out, and there was no doubt I was going to take this gorgeous whitetail. He's got big, long, sweeping points, big brow tines. He is a big, mature West Central Illinois whitetail, and I am proud. Early December here at Illinois Connection. I can't be happier. What a buck.
It's incredible when you get out here and you see exactly, you know, what this place is about. You know, sometimes you can go on a stand and see 0 deer as hunting, and then sometimes you can see 40, 50, 60 deer and just world-class whitetail. I mean, it just, you know, stimulates you, get the blood back in your system to want to do that. So definitely, I encourage, pass that along to any future generation.
I think that was the highlight of the trip, is to be able to come up here, see what Doug's tactics were, how he's getting his hunters these big deer. You know, I thought maybe I could learn a little something, and I have. You're never too old to stop learning, and that's what was really the best part about this hunt, is just be able to get out and do some whitetail hunting and you know, kind of compare strategies with Doug Benefield.
All whitetail, all the time.
Take them out. Take them.
On Versus.com and Versus On Demand.